I'm going to move along. And now we're going to hear from Dr. Sarah Campbell, who's the Catalyst awardee of EIT Health in the European Union. And she's presenting on their project, Storytelling Games for Social Connection and Reminiscing for Older Adults. Really looking forward to this. Dr. Campbell.
Thanks, Liz. Hi, everyone. I was at the University of Surrey when we did this project. I'm now at the University of Bristol in the west of England, and I run a serious games company, which we used as the commercialization partner for the project, which is called Play Well for Life. So we, in our Catalyst project, started off wanting to look at how to reduce loneliness. And we wanted to focus on older adults of low socioeconomic status who are living in quite a unique residential community. It's in a really beautiful but quite rural, remote setting. And they have older adults living there independently in supported living and also in care homes. So it's quite an interesting place. And they have about 450 older adults living on site. And we naively went into it thinking, oh, let's create an augmented reality storytelling game to help use reminiscence for people to connect with their remote family members. That's definitely what they want. So what we really believed in doing a co-design approach in terms of user-centered design. So we had 11 focus groups over the 9 months. We had around 25 participants, and they were the same people that came back each time. And we have participants with an age range from 64 up to 93 with a range of different needs. And essentially we did 5 focus groups to understand the problem. Then we moved into 4 design sessions where we got the older adults to work with us to improve our designs. And then we created a prototype that they then tested. And I think, really early on, what we found was in probably one of the first sessions is that we heard really loud and clear that they absolutely did not want a solution to use at home on a smartphone to connect with their families remotely. Actually, what they wanted and identified as a problem was a way to build community of people who are not like-minded. They said, we live in a neighborhood. COVID and the pandemic has decimated that sense of community, and we really need to rebuild it. But there are lots of people here that don't respect each other, don't have tolerance for each other, and don't understand each other. And that's our real problem. So we sort of went, okay, we've got 2 options. We can either insist that we design the thing we wanted to design, or we can listen to them and go with what they're telling us is their need and their problem. So it was really uncertain as a project, but as a result of going with that process, probably the best project I've ever done. And so basically they said, we don't want an app that signposts us or gives us information. We want a reason to leave our houses and to meet new people, both informally and in a structured way, and to meet people we wouldn't normally share kind of commonality with. And they really wanted to focus on positive community building rather than talk about loneliness. They didn't want the conversations to be around that. They wanted to have more of a solution focus and discussion. And it was really interesting that over the course of the design sessions, we saw them move from being very negative and always focusing on what was wrong in the community to really starting to generate their own ideas of things they could do immediately in their community to make a difference. And as a result of the project, the participants, 11 of them have said, we feel like this is really important, what we've designed, but we also feel like there's a bigger piece here. So they've now agreed to stay on as an advisory group. So we're now redesigning the next phases of the prototype. We're going to run a trial there, but we're also supporting them in looking at how else they can build community in this residential community. And so it's kind of really exciting because one of the things they said really early on is, people come here and do research on us and then nothing ever happens. And we've given our time for what? And it's really important to us as we went into this project and to the community members that this didn't just become another research project where they felt like they'd given a lot and then everyone left with their lived experience and they never heard from them again. So we intentionally set out to build a community-centered design approach which looked at the longevity of establishing a group in this community and also looked at how do we make sure it's a partnership and there's 2-way learnings rather than us just taking what we need. So we've found really interesting stuff. We've come up with a digital solution now. We helped, where their input really helped was helping us understand what what technology is accessible to everyone, and how do we therefore make it a design that anyone can use in the community. And they also said it needed to be community situated. So what we're doing now is working with them to design the next phases of that. And then we're going to trial it there and elsewhere in other communities. So just, yeah, it's been a really interesting project, and it's just a pleasure to share it with you briefly today. So thanks for listening.
Thank you for sharing that with us. And I like that phrase, community-centered design versus, I often talk about human-centered design, and there's a lot of digital design. So I love that, community.